really took the game to New Zealand in front of a boisterous crowd. Australia, on the other hand, well, they got off to a losing start against England, but then thumped Colombia 34 points to 0 and dispatched Fiji 22 points to 5 to get themselves into the quarter-final. And our referee in the middle, James Umbulumio from Fiji, his 46th match on the World Rugby Sevens Series.
All right, Captain.
Lana Baravelala kicks off to the far side of the pitch. It hasn't gone 10 metres. That's the dotted line to the left of your picture there. And you can see that USA have to go back behind their 10-metre line. Here's the kick again. It didn't cross that 10 metre, that dotted line to the left of your picture, which means that Australia then will get possession back and will have a tap restart in centre field. Amy Turner for Australia. She taps and goes now. Punctures that defence well. A little bit of a clash of there. Chloe Dalton then down into the towards the USA 22. USA player down injured at the moment in that clash with Chloe Dalton. And Shannon Parry will take the quick cap restart. Charlotte Caslick has Emily Cherry on the outside overlap. Cherry just shows the dummy and then on to Emma Tenagato. That's her 7th try here in Atlanta. 5 against Colombia. And Tenagato scores against the USA.
7 against 6. And you can see they had the space to burn. The little dummy is what did it initially. And then she touches down another great score. And then the back play. Meanwhile, as you said, Dalton took a knock and she will be leaving the field here. In fact, it's for the United States. Get a number there in a second.
So the conversion missed by Australia, but with a man down USA, Emma Tenagato, and unfortunately for the United States of America, Amelia Bitzer, she got injured in the tackle just as Chloe Dalton came across. She just got one in the back of the ribs, purely accidental, as Amy Turner was tackled, and that's what resulted. Well, the result was that USA were one down in the defensive alignment and Australia took full advantage of it. So the United States then will attack through Ryan Carlisle. Barivarala to Gillian Potter. The USA skipper's been so influential within this team on day one. It's all about whether USA can kind of back it up now. Ryan Carlisle tackled there, loud blast of the whistle. Hands were placed on the deck beyond the ball. And Australia will just settle things down and set their attack structures. Emma Tenagato, well, 7 tries, 5 against Colombia, 1 against Fiji, and now 1 against the USA. Charlotte Caslick, ball in 2 hands. Tenagato, well, is she going to get another try? Beautiful show and go, and round she goes to dot the ball down. Well, she is a try-scoring sensation, this youngster.
Try Australia, number 5.
She is so fun to watch with ball in hand, but that penalty move was excellent. Cutting back to the short side towards us, creating a 2-on-1, perfect pass for Tenagato, 1-on-1. She had the pass on the inside, didn't even need it. Faked, and around she goes for another great score, and it is all Australia right now.
Well, Australia's coach Tim Walsh looks on and he'll be mighty pleased with the start that they've made to this particular match. Look at this for the conversion. The additional 2 points is good. And Chloe Dalton has the extras for 2 points. And Australia have started superbly well, as you would expect from the series leading team. Now this kick is deep down into the half. I wonder if USA will let that one go, but they decide to attack. Nicole Heverland into the contact area. But turnover ball for Australia, illegally though. Handling the ball on the deck. So what can USA do? They've been pinned back in their own half. Good switch play here though. And so far, USA have not been able to get the ball into the strike runners on Lauren Doyle and Kristen Thomas. Here's Doyle. She's has an athletics background. Held in the tackle there by Shannon Parry. And Australia, well, they've suffocated the United States in this first half.
That's right, their defense, just one-on-one defense has been sterling. Doyle normally can get past the first tackler, and this time she just runs into an absolute brick wall. Parry brings it down to the ground, and they get the scrum feed.
You know, it's interesting, you know, the ball ended up on the deck there, so USA had a chance to play it. So perhaps referee James Ombalumbio will... he didn't have the he didn't have the opportunity for us in terms of looking at the pictures. Charlotte Caslick then will feed this scrum. Quirk on the reverse. Here's Emily Cherry. Cherry with that distinctive head guard. Alicia Quirk goes in to sort of clear ball, but Emily Cherry this time for Australia, penalised for holding on to the ball. And Bara Vilala will just settle things down by just clearing upfield a wee bit. USA by no means out of this game. 2 tries can be scored within the matter of seconds. Dallin Stanford.
Absolutely right. They're just slowing things down a little bit because they find themselves under pressure near their own goal line. So let's see if they can get some positive go-forward possession here.
Heverland manages to collect up now. Doyle, Thomas. We know about her pace. Can Doyle get round on the wraparound support? Ball fed back. Julian Potter. Oh, the ball was left behind by Heverland. She has to go back to collect the ball, but the Australian player went down on the American and it was illegal.
Yeah, thank you.
Once again, you can just see the effort that Australia are putting in the defensive chores. Tony Gatto and Shannon Parry go in, but as the tacklers must release the American. Now there's players over here. Kristen Thomas, Barry Vilala, not noted for an out-and-out pace. Good defence though from Australia. Can USA finish the half? Kristen Thomas goes up. Super tackle by Emily Cherry for Australia. Now recycle possession. Heverland to Potter. Oh, the knocks are coming, aren't they? This is Heverland. Ball then through Carlisle. Doyle through the dummy. Now Lauren Doyle, can she get one back for the United States? Caslick chases her down. The hitch kick, but the tackle was brilliant by Caslick. Kristen Thomas goes in to try and clear. USA spreading the ball wide to this far side. Nicole Heverland bundled. USA 7 metres from the line. Can they go into the corner? Tony Gatto with the tackle on Ryan Carlisle. Well, that's awfully tight, isn't it? Route 1 here for the United States, but Australia's tackling is immense. Julian Potter throws the pass. Barry Vilala, the little hitch kick. Barry Vilala tries to get rid of the ball. Thomas, despite the attention of Charlotte Caslick. Now here's Doyle. Doyle switches the play. Breathtaking end to the first half from the United States of America. Tremendous defence coming on from Australia, but the penalty conceded will still give the opportunity. It's a yellow card. And Shannon Parry, I think it is, sent to the sin bin. So the power play is on.
This game is turning out to be an absolute thriller. Like a movie from an episode of Rocky.
Well, the punches are being thrown by the United States. Can Potter and Kristen Thomas do something here? Doyle on the outside. Doyle leaves the ball. Potter goes back. But it was a knock-on. USA missed their chance, and it's Australia who go in at half-time. They're 12 points to 0 up. Don't go put the kettle on, folks, because there's going to be some action in the second half.
Attention Screaming Eagles fans, stop by the Screaming Eagles booth on the concourse after the USA match. Meet Rookie Eagle and get your photo taken. Go Eagles!
Well, Dallin Stanford, I'm Scott Hastings, and Dallin Stanford, the former USA Eagles 7-star. What a first half that was.
Oh, it has been action-packed stuff, you're right. USA needed to score at the end there, 7 against 6. Keep that patience going, and it's all about momentum in sevens. If they can start off now and get the ball, they can get right back into this game. And likewise for Australia, if they score the next try, it could be all over.
Let's see if we can listen to what Tim Walsh is saying.
And then we make those rough decisions, right? Get to your feet. As soon as he calls rough, get out of there, okay? Yeah. No, call it rough, just get out. You've been disciplined around it, all right? Okay? On them, when they go into...
Well, the USA there from Akalani Baravalala, issuing the instructions there.
USA on 3, 1, 2, 3, USA! Hey, let's do it, all right? You got this, all right? You got it, right? Great job.
The United States have Jessica Javeley on the bench. I wonder if she'll come off in the second half, just to add a little bit of bite. And she was the hero yesterday, scored the winning try against the against New Zealand, I should say. That's Ryan Carlisle there. So Ryan Carlisle, who made her debut in Houston in the season 2012-13. This is her third World Rugby event. So Emily Cherry there with the scrum cap.
Ready to go?
Second half then underway of this third Cup quarter-final. Australia lead by 12 points to 0, and a good kick-off by Australia because they've pinned the USA back. The USA are going to have to attack from deep.
Yeah, very interesting as well. One of their main players, Kelter, Alev Kelter, is still on the bench. Wonder if she'll come into this or if she's carrying a knock.
Oh, well, the ball's just been into Amy Turner. Cherry will attack. Cherry on the wide outside, and Cherry has sliced through the USA defence.
That is an unforced error initially from the line-out. The wind just carrying the ball away, and Emily Cherry just showed a clean pair of heels on the outside gap. Look at that line-out. Wow, it was about as straight as a corner. And then there she goes, putting on the wheels. Great speed from the wing sensation.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning that with that line-out throw, there is a strong wind blowing down the pitch, and that took the ball away. Chloe Dalton with the attempted conversion here, and she'll be kicking right into that wind towards those posts. Let's see if she can fare any better than that line-out throw. Nope. So she gets substituted, and Dominique Dutoy. Let's see Emily Cherry third in the all-point scoring list, and Ghislaine Landry and Portia Woodman of New Zealand. So again, Australia kicking long, pushing the United States team back into their own 22, so they're having to attack from deep. Kristen Thomas tracked down by Dutoy with a superb tackle. Well, over the top, I think illegally, was Charlotte Kaslik. But play on, says the referee. Emily Cherry up to the halfway line. Australia showing their real class by turning over ball there. As Tony Gatto to Kaslik. Dutoy's got a bit of gas. Plays on the inside, recycles the possession well. And United States penalised from coming in at the wrong angle.
Yeah, that's right. The United States are running out of support, though, on their first thing. Thomas got away from her support players. You've got to work in groups of 3 to secure possession. And now Australia can slow things down. They're finally back to 7 players, scoring with 6 earlier.
Good. I just pulled power and pulled it back in. I tried pulling the viewfinder power and taking it back in.
Well, Australia are in total control of this particular tie. There's Emily Cherry, debuted in Dubai. She was an Oz under-20s touch team player.
Substitution wide. Yeah, she's coming off.
And Australia, they just know the game inside out, aren't they? They're in control of the game. And the changes that we expected from this United States team. There's the Jessica Javelet, who scored a winning try against New Zealand at the end of day 1 yesterday, that put the United States into the final. Also in off the bench is Lev Kelter. She enters the action. Kelter, a dynamic runner. Australia drive the line out, but illegally, says referee James Rumbulumbio. So the tap and go then from United States. Megan Bonney. Bonney has Gillian Potter, the United States skipper. That's the 10-metre line. And once again, it's all about United States having to attack from deep. Now, here's the pace. Javelet covered on that far outside channel there by Dominic Dutoit. And the youngster did well to snuff out the counter threat from Javelet. Great defensive effort from the youngster from Australia.
Oh, it certainly was. I'm sure everybody's been watching the highlights of Javelet, the magician, carving it up here. And they forced her to the outside. And that is great defense, because the touchline is another extra defender, wrapping her up beautifully in the tackle. And then the support players, Cherry was involved there as well. They came flying in, and nothing the USA could do with that. More time on the clock gone.
Well, the United States just haven't quite hit their straps, because Australia have dominated the possession. We saw the previous line out go Squint Kelter, and it's just not happening for this United States team. And you can see the reaction, or hear the reaction, I should say, of the crowd on this near side.
It was like only else at Augusta, just missing those putts. Frustrating stuff for the United States.
Emily Cherry then attacks. Ball in hand, Amy Turner. Dutoit's on the outside. Dutoit, just clever, uses her pace, uses her skill. Oh, what a wonderful try by Dominique Dutoit.
At 18 years of age, she is showing the experience of an absolute veteran here on the World Series. It's a one-on-one on the outside. Beautiful step, and then still had a lot of work to do to get into the corner. She is one to watch for the future.
Just such balance there. She knew she was about to get tackled by Javelet, cut back inside, then went for the corner. And what I liked about it was also the dive as well. And look at the delight from her teammates, Amy Turner and Emily Cherry. One for the future, and certainly is set this particular match alight.
Well, Australia have really turned things around after that first game when they went down, and they're looking very, very powerful here at beautiful Kennesaw State.
Brooke Walker misses the conversion for Australia. Well, it's all been one-way traffic for this Australian side. They've responded well. They're top of the try-scoring records on the series. They won, remember, in Dubai and Sao Paulo. They're into the semi-final. They'll be looking to make it 3, and they've responded well, despite that opening defeat by 21 points to 7 on day 1 to England. So Javelet, track back to Toy, and Javelet, well, she scored a wonderful try. This is what the United States needed in the first half. They got it in the second half, but it's a consolation, dare I say it, for the United States.
Javelet, a delight to watch with ball in hand, but again coming in late into the second half. You really would have liked to have seen her in those opening 7 minutes. Just pure speed, untouched by both players on the outside. And there hopefully won't be the last in this game of her.
Nicole Heverland with the conversion attempt. Just pulls that one. Well, a glimpse of what could have been for the United States team, and Coach Richie Walker, he'll be disappointed it just hasn't quite clicked for his team on day 2 in knockout rugby here on the third cup quarter-final. But it's been Australia who've dominated their opposition. It's been a good response by the Australians. Julian Potter with an excellent take. Well, despite the fact that USA are so far behind Australia, there's always something to play for in a sevens tie. United States showing great spirit here. Potter. Good defence there from Australia. As Michelle Stevens took the ball into the contact. This is Catherine Zachary, but Javelin down that flank once again. Javelin tackled there by Brooke Walker. Brooke Walker trying to pull the American into touch. She does that, and that will be the last action of this third cup quarter-final. It's Australia that will go into the semi-final. Final score then, Australia 22, the USA 5.
And that concludes this match. The final score, Australia 22, USA 5.
There's a mission to go 3 tournaments unbeaten for Australia. How it all plays out, well, the next 14 minutes will tell its own tale. That's Canada's route to this stage. So impressive against Fiji. 29 points to 0 in that one. Australia, meanwhile, well, they've been scoring tries for fun after that early setback by England, and they comfortably accounted for the United States of America. Dallas Danford is beside me, former USA Sevens international. Australia are favourites on paper, but Canada have been playing some superb rugby.
They really have. Defensively, Canada have only let in 4 tries, which is amazing this weekend, and won all 4 matches. Very, very exciting time right now as you take a look at the referee.
Alejandra Nieves, 64th match in charge in the 7 series. A beautiful afternoon in Atlanta. I wouldn't bet against Canada causing an upset here. They have been devastating, but they haven't faced anything quite like the opposition in front of them. The gold from Australia. And the captain, Shannon Parry, underneath this one, but Australia getting their big tall players up. Kelly Russell to disrupt, back with Parry, and shipped on nicely from Alicia Quirk. And through the middle, Australia try and go. Megan Lucan making the hit. Cherry again. Here is Tony Gatto, the strike runner. I was telling you, into Kasnik. She's another one. Back inside to Tony Gatto. 7-5. Kasnik to Tony Gatto. It's another one for Emma Tony Gatto. And what a start for Australia.
Wow, we've seen the Honey Badger do it for the men's 15s team, and now we're seeing Tony Gatto following back on the inside. She set up a beautiful pass and then followed back in, and the timing was absolutely fantastic. Kaslik delivers the goods, and Australia bite first.
The ball beats the player every time. And the conversion attempt underneath the post from Chloe Dalton. 7 points to 0, and she is on fire. Tony Gatto. 9 tries in Atlanta. Not a bad weekend's work so far, and she's not done yet. Chloe Dalton to get us back underway. Tony Gatto switches sides, and the chase is on here. Maybe suspicion from Cherry that she might have been offside, but Canada knock it on, and Australia should get the put in here.
Yeah, nice kickoff there from Dalton. We know her brothers are watching, play their rugby in Sydney, and just forcing the error there. Momentum well with Australia right now in the start.
Explosive opening from Australia. Back-to-back tournament wins in Dubai and Sao Paulo. Kaslik with the feed, clean ball for them to work with. A couple of dummy runners, but Tony Gatto took that one at a standing start. Wrapped up and taken to the ground by Lucan. He's made a couple of hits so far. Kaslik under pressure, needs help there from Sherry, and they get it away. Tony Gatto once more. Nice hands from Quirk. This is the captain, Shannon Parry. Little switch, just to retain possession and make Canada think about the runners. All defensive duties from the team in red. And the Aussies go and spread this one wide. Sherry on the outside to Kaslik. She's going to have to go on her own here. She breaks the tackle, and off she goes! Charlotte Kaslik underneath the post. Maleski won't want to see that tackle again. Kaslik will look at it all day long.
Well, it's the combination, and this time Kaslik, she's as dangerous as the electric chair. Comes to the outside. 3 players coming across. She manages to cut back in. Those two needed to make that tackle, and in the end she makes it look all too simple. Smiles on her face and smiles on the Wallabies.
Conversion underneath the post. Varela, I should say, Dalton adds the extras. 14 points to 0. And the crowd all smiles. The Wallabies are in front.
Quickly, please. Now.
Canada need to settle into this game. Look at that. It's going to land right on the 10-metre line. That's precision. I don't think that Emily Cherry quite believed it was going to get there, but that is precision restart kicking from Dalton.
And if you're Canada, you want to catch that, whether it's 9 metres or 10 metres, and just get the ball in your hands. We haven't even announced any of the Canadian names yet.
Up the middle. Kish. Landry. It's all going from bad to worse for Canada. I tell you what, Tony Gatto might stand up. She thought of it. Russell closed that gap. Cherry. Parry. 2 to bring her down. She's still on her feet. Jen Kish in to try and steal. Has to let it go. Referee instructions pretty clear. Kaslik, lovely wrap around it again. Trying to put her teammate through. But Quirk just thought better to retain possession than get isolated. And that was the right decision. Cherry again to Shannon Parry. Nice little run from Tony Gatto, just to straighten inside, give her teammates the option to set play and go again, but they've gone off their feet.
Yeah, finally Canada get a break there. They'll get possession this time, because Australia are playing intelligent sevens, as you said, not to get too isolated. Now it's a chance here for the North Americans to see what they're made of.
Well, John Tate needs to have a think about this one, because his team have barely touched the ball, and when they have, they've dropped it. What have Canada got in response? We know they're capable. Maleski to Kish. Langford coming up, and another drop ball. It's a nightmare for Canada. Australia, little chip and chase. Kaslik after this one, stretches the legs. Back goes Varela. Stands up, does well. Varela, the pass to Landry. Tackled by Sherry. Numbers now on the left-hand side here. Paquin drops the shoulder, but she's upended in a cruncher of a tackle. Chloe Dalton. That's technique for you. Varela, pass on the outside. Landry, we know she's got pace. Can she beat Tony Gatto? Landry sets off. 2 in pursuit. She's the quickest player on the pitch, because Kaslik can't stop her. Tony Gatto couldn't catch her, and Canada are back in the game.
Well, we saw Landry score a hat-trick earlier today, and it was excellent setup for her on the outside. Quick hands, 2 to beat, and then she turned on the burners. And as you said, Coach John Tate will be much happier with his side scoring on the hooter.
Conversion here important, because this would make it a 1-score game if this goes over. It's a kickable one, and the flags go up. We have a game, ladies and gentlemen, in Atlanta. The perfect response from Landry. She did it in the quarterfinals. She's done it again in the semi-finals. Canada trail, but only by 7 now. It's Canada 7, Australia 14. What a second half in prospect.
This is the one thing in our attack. Get a bit deeper. Right?
Side girls.
Let's go.
Now half girls.
From this half, basically, you've got to inject up in that first. Inject yourself into this game, okay? 2 big points there. Our tack seal is really good, right? To get the kick in, that's just really, really on, right? Okay, even in the line, okay, it's got to come with everyone, and we have to chase, we have to connect to make that tackle, right? Your tack seal is great. You know, ruckers keep moving up, hip square, okay? Put him under pressure, put their skill under pressure, they're going to turn it over. Right? There's some inject. Next 2 minutes, inject it as well. Right? Nil all. Defense wins us.
Saturday, April 23rd at Burbank Stadium in Kennesaw. Call 855-44-PLAYS. Log on to AtlantaPlace.com for tickets now. Check it out. Listening card presented by Kicks 1015, featuring Eric Jones playing live at the concert with special guests. Major League Lacrosse is here. Get tickets at AtlantaPlace.com.
Nice work, Lobster.
So, second half just about set to go. Australia lead by 7. Canada striking back just before the half-time whistle. And what have they got in this second half? A slow start for Canada. They might be happy just to be 7 points down, given they couldn't catch a cold in the first 4 or 5 minutes. Landry, she scored the try, and that is another drop ball. Referee hasn't seen it, and they might get a chance to move this one now. Kish out in the wing there, look for the offload, gets the offload away. Lovely play by Jen Kish, captain leading the charge, and that was an illegal. Not releasing the tackler. Chance to go quickly again for Canada. Why not? The momentum is with you. Paquin. Any chance for Russell to get through? Back to Landry, no room for her. Back to Farella. And this is Molesky. Kish, lovely hands to keep it alive. This is teamwork at its best. Trying to burst through to tackle this Lucan, and they keep it alive. It's 4 on 1 outside. They gotta go numbers. Hands will do this, surely. On the outside, Paquin for the corner. Paquin for the corner. Oh yes, Canada right back into this game. What a try.
Oh, Canada, you good thing. It's Paquin that gets the score, but it's the whole team that worked beautifully in unison. Jen Kish led it on the right-hand side, and then it came back with numbers to burn. Paquin, with those ears taped up, she knows one way to the line.
Streamlined for maximum effect. And boy, did that one work. Russell now, she got the last conversion. This isn't going to be a million miles away. Oh, it's over! It is over! The banana kick from the outside of the foot. 14 points apiece. What a game, Dallin. What a game.
Wow. Whatever Tate said at halftime, I want some of that for breakfast. Look at that kick. Genius.
Every point counts in a game that is finely poised. Here's Dutoy, substitute onto the pitch. Can the 18-year-old wonder kid make a difference for Australia? First half, all Aussies. Second half so far, Canada dominating. And Tony Gatto to try and turn the screw. Dummy from Tony Gatto. Still going. And the outside for Cherry. And Cherry is going to win the race. Australia strike back. You cannot take your eye off this game for a millisecond.
Well, we're surely going to lose our voice in the next 4 minutes. Tony Gatto, up the middle she goes. You have to mark her. You can't give her any space. She gets through beautifully, and then the timing of the pass was excellent because she may have gone herself. The wheels on the outside. The cherry on the cake.
19-14. Australia, just when you thought Canada had a stranglehold on the game. Tim Walsh smiles, and you don't blame him. Inversion attempt by the try scorer, off the post and over. This game has everything, absolutely everything.
Well, the next Soccer World Cup, I might pick some of these players in the field right now. 2 excellent conversions.
Little puff of the inhaler. And Australia to restart. 21-14. We've had 5 tries, all of them converted, all of them brilliant. 3.5 minutes to go. Canada looking for inspiration. Well, why not number 9, Landry, with the pass to Kish. Bounces up nicely, Jen Kish to break through. Well marshalled. Back inside goes Molesky. Tries to fend, tries to break the tackle. Kish in support. They've got numbers now left if they just straighten up, and hands might put Paquin in the corner. Paquin waiting for it, calls for it and gets in. Paquin backs herself. Paquin backs herself. But I tell you, so did Shannon Parry, and she wrapped her and put her into touch.
How vital will that tackle be from Shannon Parry, the captain? Textbook stuff, pulling her towards the touchline. And they'll get the ball back, will Australia.
Sao Paulo is now a distant memory. That was a landslide for the Aussies. This one score in it, 2.5 minutes substitution for Canada. Hannah Darling comes in. I tell you what, I wouldn't mind seeing Emanuela Jada, because she has the pace that can unlock that Australian defence. Beautiful take. Set piece ball off the top. Turner, nice wrap around with Kaslik. And here goes Cherry again, trying to put Charlotte Kaslik in. Kaslik stretches those long legs over the halfway line, but she is tackled. And Australia under a little bit of pressure. Turner gets it away. Cherry only has Tani Gatto outside, and she doesn't need her. Sold her up the river. Australia, this would surely seal it. Hands might do it. Tani Gatto for the corner. How was that pass? It was okay, says the referee. And that surely is that. The dummy from Shannon Parry. The finish from Tani Gatto. Who else?
Oh, speaking of dream teams, this is brilliant. That dummy is what started it all. I felt for that as well in the commentary booth. And then the support of the Australians was excellent. Tani Gatto got it at the end. How many times have we said her name this weekend? She latches onto this one, and you've got to feel for the Canadians. They put everything into this game.
And everything has not been enough. Conversion attempt, drifting to the right and wide. Well, a minute to go. A miracle needed for Canada. 2 tries. You feel it's beyond them, and Tani Gatto takes a well-earned break. In comes Penatani.
12, right? 12.
And Jada makes an appearance. Well, Hail Mary needed. Give her the ball and see what she can do, but time ticking away there while the substitutions were being made. 50 seconds left. Possession is vital. Bounces up nicely for Russell. Here's Landry. Kish can't hold it. It went backwards or forwards. Forward, says the referee. Marginal, but when it's not going your way, you don't get the breaks.
Yeah, coach for Australia, Tim Walsh said, let's pressurise the Canadians and force them into making mistakes, and that was a good example. And now Australia look to finish it out with 20 seconds to go.
Tim Walsh, a happy man. I tell you what, He knows his side have been in a game, and a couple of pieces of brilliance from his players, the difference. Canada, though, ahead of Langford. I tell you what, they've played some fantastic rugby. Is there going to be another one? Dutoy stands up Jada. Can't go through her. Can't go around her. Sets it up. There goes the hooter for the full-time whistle. Tackle goes in. Was it high? Referee says no. Chance here. Well, that is the end of that. Emily Cherry smacks the ball into the stand. What a game of rugby we've been treated to here in Atlanta. If there's been any doubt about how good this Australia team is, you've just had your answer. They are the team to beat. They'll play New Zealand in the final. Final score, Canada 14, Australia 26. Great rivals, New Zealand hoping to wrestle the crown off Australia. The Aussies aiming for 3 tournament titles in a row. They know each other very well. They've played 10 times in total and nothing to separate the teams. New Zealand with 5 wins, Australia with 5. They last met in Dubai in December, Australia winning by 15 points to 12. That's the starting teams. Parry, the captain for Australia. Goss, the captain for New Zealand. Pace aplenty between both, and a cracking final awaits. So the final, and the team's out. Australia against New Zealand. The old kings against the newbies on the block. So much to look forward to. Sarah Goss, a heavy, deep breath from her. Tonegato, arguably one of the players of the tournament in Atlanta. The stage is set, the crowd have stayed behind, and conditions are absolutely ideal for a final. Take the right away from Sao Paulo. We have a beautiful night in Atlanta. And I tell you what, if this one lives up to expectations, we are in for a treat. We will have, of course, the team's national anthems.
Please stand for the playing of New Zealand's national anthem.
So advance Australia fair and the national anthems of Australia, and before that New Zealand. Both teams in a huddle. Sue Day beside me, a cracking final awaits.
It's always a cracking final between Australia and New Zealand. Neither team probably played to their best yesterday, but these are two teams who know how to make it count when it matters.
Alhambra Nieves from Spain is our referee, and we are almost set to go. 10 minutes aside for the final, as opposed to the customary 7 all the way up until this stage. The final gets 20 minutes, and 20 minutes of action, I can guarantee it. New Zealand just with 4 substitutes on the bench. Of course, Kelly Brazier unable to continue after yesterday's play. Portia Woodman back in the starting 7. We know how dangerous the top try scorer in Women's World Sevens history is. Her record stands alone. Tony Gatto against Woodman. Goss against Parry. The matchups all over the pitch. Which team will come out on top, we'll know in 20 minutes' time. Well, that was a tackle off the ball, and Tony Gatto leaves it for Parry. And with the first penalty of the match, it's only taken 15 seconds.
A real let-off for Australia. You can't afford to let those kick-offs bounce. You never normally see that from Australia either, but a let-off because of the tackle off the ball.
Kaslik looks to get play back underway. I can promise you physicality. Williams in to make that hit. Kaslik once more looks for a turn on the outside. Did she stay in play? The flag eventually goes up, and we'll go back for the line out. Amy Turner almost got away.
A couple of uncharacteristic errors early on from Australia. They're not claiming the kick-off, then clearly a foot in touch.
Wuniata with the throw. First set piece has come back on the Australian side. Losing their own line out, and all these margins. Cherry running across the pitch. Little switch with Tony Gatto. Try scoring machine in Atlanta. Back for Cherry. Parry, the captain, to Kaslik. Looks to get something going. Should have middle, and Kaslik kicks clear. Goss gives chase, but she's not going to catch her. The first try of the final goes to the Australian number 7, Charlotte Kaslik, underneath the posts.
Charlotte Kaslik had no right to score there. There was defence swarming all over her. First of all, they turn it over at the line out, Australia. They moved it all the way over the pitch. Then Kaslik cuts back inside. There's defenders everywhere, but she just cuts straight through, I think, the desperate tackle of Niall Williams in under the post. Charlotte Kaslik, such a quality player.
Conversion successful from Chloe Dalton, so 7 points to 0. Tim Walsh, much the happier of the two coaches with that start. And we've played just over 2 minutes, but Charlotte Kaslik, you do not give her any space or she is gone. Australia and Dalton to restart. New Zealand looking to get themselves back into this game. Goss, the captain, takes it on the burst, tackled around the legs by Alicia Quirk, but gives away the penalty for not releasing. No support, in fairness to her. She tried to hang on for as long as legally possible. Referee on the spot as Turner takes it and switches play back to Kaslik. Missed pass. Controlled well by Quirk at her feet and delayed that pass, and Alicia Quirk going for the corner. She's got Tony Gatto back inside. She doesn't need her. Quirk is in, touches down, and it's another Australia try, and it's all too easy today.
It is Alicia Quirk, Charlotte Kaslik. So often we see them pulling the strings for Australia. They're not usually the ones doing all the finishing, but Alicia Quirk just spots a little gap, and she is quick and she is fit. Feints the little pass inside to Tonegato, so the defence can't afford to leave her. But it's a simple finish in the end. Just spotted the gap, just like her teammate Kaslik.
Second conversion attempt from Dalton. Not a bad strike. It's going to go to the right and wide though. I mean, Tony Gatto's role in that try, just to simplify it for people, to give that option back inside meant New Zealand couldn't commit just to the runner. They had to protect against the pass inside.
That's why it's so important to flood a break. Make sure you've got loads of support there, because the defence has to worry about the support as well as the ball carrier.
How good has she been in this tournament? 6 minutes left to play in the first half. 12-0 Australia in front, and look at that for a restart. Parry, the captain, goes after. Oh my God! The dumper trucks come into roost and smash in the tackle, forcing the knock-on. Watch this again.
Absolutely smashed Chloe Dalton and Shannon Parry. Poor Shirei Tane underneath that had no chance.
Australia starting with real intent here. They want 3 in a row. They want to say we are the new queens of women's sevens, and they are starting with real confidence. Tony Gatto back inside to Kaslik. A little knock on from Woodman. Was it deliberate? Play on. Advantage to Australia. Tony Gatto juggled with it, held on. Williams tried to wrestle that ball. Australia need to get it back. What a steal from Williams. Switch back inside. Tane stays in field. How did she stay in field and get the pass away? It was forward, but she says, come on ref, give me a break. You have 3 people trying to drag me into touch there.
The pace of this game is something else, isn't it? There she goes, Tane trying to get around the outside and then feed the ball back in, but she, just as she's trying to force it, probably just drifts forward.
I've seen less than that given. That was Woodman's knock-on. And here is Kaslik again to restart from the scrum. Charlotte Kaslik, Tony Gatto, little grubber kick through. Back goes Tani. She's got 2 golden jerseys breathing down her neck. They have to let her off the ground, but it was a fair contest, both diving onto it. So New Zealand come away with it. Goss offering herself as a switch. Portia Woodman, haven't seen too much of her in space out wide. Was that a knock-on from Williams? Unusual to see her hands fail her. In fact, Australia were the ones to have knocked the ball on, so maybe Williams getting away with that one.
You talk about Portia Woodman not having had the chance to have the ball much in space, especially when she's selected it forward as she is in this game. It's always going to be harder to get the ball in wide open spaces.
Is that a strange selection decision for you, instead of putting her out in the wing where she's, as we know, devastating?
I think it's about trying to get all his best players on the pitch.
Well, at the moment, New Zealand needs something, maybe a moment of magic from Tana. Interception on a plate! Emily Cherry will not score an easier try on the international sevens circuit. Handed it to her, and that is try number 3. 3 minutes to go, and Cherry touches down for Australia.
All Australia, isn't it? Australia putting the pressure on what is a relatively inexperienced New Zealand side. That offload really wasn't on, and Emily Cherry lurking as she does, pushing up hard in defence, right on hand.
Dalton adds the conversion. And it's all too easy for Australia at the moment. We promised you a ferociously competitive match, but Emily Cherry's try, 72nd of her career, closing in on Kayla McAllister, who's not here this weekend. But that was all too easy, and New Zealand need inspiration from somewhere, Sude.
Yeah, Australia just dominating possession at the moment, aren't they? There is a lot more experience in this Australia side than there is in the New Zealand side. They've played in finals way more often.
Well, that was a thundering tackle in on Williams there. She did well just to hang on to that ball. Grubber kick through again, and New Zealand just handing possession back to Australia. You wonder, is this part of the plan? And if it is it the right one?
It's worked out well for them this time, hasn't it? Charlotte Kaslik taking the ball into touch.
90 seconds to play at the end of the first half. Australia comfortable. Winiata to throw. Goss in the middle. Surely she will be the target. And the tall figure of Sarah Goss goes up the captain, takes that one and through the middle of the gap. Almost got away as well from Parry. advantage play. She came in from an offside position. Now a chance maybe for New Zealand. Back inside to Ruby Tui again, another strong handoff, and still going. Good strength by New Zealand's number 1. Quirk. Winiata throws the pass out wide. With the dummy and show by Williams. Any room for an offload length to get back on her feet. She released the ball. Here's Woodman. Woodman to act as scrum half. New Zealand, Winiata with the mistake. And Australia still having to defend. Woodman again. Nice pass from her. Little step and show back inside from Waka. And a ruck ball for New Zealand. Tui. Any room there? Goss. Winiata. Little switch. Williams trying to shake off the tackle of Alicia Quirk. Still there for New Zealand. Portia Woodman trying one hand. Cannot get away from Kaslik. Brilliant Australia defending. There's an overlap in the left now. It must be a try. Surely it is. Winiata touches down. It's taken 10 minutes, but New Zealand are finally off the mark.
When you manage to put that many phases together in sevens, you're going to score the try. The defence just gets far too stretched. Portia Woodman took the ball in, took in the defence with her, and in the end it's a pretty easy run in from Salika Winiata. But all came from the continuity of possession that New Zealand had, didn't it?
First real look at them going through the phases like that, recycling possession and waiting for the gaps to appear. Conversion attempt, this one to make it 7 points. It is 7 points, and New Zealand are not dead yet. Well, an entertaining half. Australia dominating the early stages. New Zealand striking back to give themselves a glimmer of hope. New Zealand 7, Australia 19 at the break.
Battle, girls. We want a battle. We got a real big battle on our hands, right?
Pass around, pass around, pass around. Straight up.
What are you fucking talking? Stop pushing anything yet.
Okay? When we're in defence, if we're connected, we've got to come forward a little bit. We're still got to put them under pressure. We connect and come forward, okay? We can still come forward, then slide. Don't just get into a slide, okay? We'll make the change just for half, okay? Pop into the line as much as you can and pop out, okay? But keep coming forward. When you have the ball, they fatigue because you bashed them, you bashed them, you bashed them. Now you start bashing them. That's an awesome black man. Okay, let's go. One try, we're back in this shit.
Girls, let's finish it off. We got 10 minutes, okay? I want the honey badger. Yeah, girls. Yes. This is our day one. Take that. Get it, girls.
Hashtag Atlanta Sevens. Let us know what you've thought of the last 2 days' action here. There's been some brilliant running rugby, some fantastic tries, and you're going to do it all again next week in Langford. So the last 10 minutes of the Atlanta Women's Sevens, and Australia with that lead. New Zealand playing catch-up. What have they got left in the tank? Williams tries to break the tackle. And New Zealand starting with real purpose here. And pace on the outside, no room left. And Emily Cherry bungles her into touch. Well, a bit of a cheeky one there.
I think it came with a smile, didn't it? I don't think she really meant it. Had a little bit of a chuckle with the assistant referee. Emily Cherry equal to the challenge from Waka.
Kaslik goes to the front. Parry try to break away there. Cherry, Turner stopped in her tracks. And there for Kaslik again. Now this combination, 7 and 5 for Australia, have been absolutely lethal all tournament long. Tony Gatto trying to go through the tackle. Too many there. Ruby Tui in over the ball. She's on her feet and wins the penalty. Tony Gatto doesn't release.
Yeah, she was completely isolated, Tony Gatto there, wasn't she? Kaslik taken out in the tackle. Nobody else with her. To see that there's 3 defenders on 1, there was only 1 result there.
Well, New Zealand, it seems the half-time team talk, whatever Sean Horan said, has fired them up because they've started with real purpose here. Can they find the gap, though? Can they put Portia Woodman in any kind of space? Because we haven't seen her once have a go, and she's lining out on the wing here now. That's where she's lethal. Little dummy, show and go, Ruby Tui! Tui's on her own, needs a bit of help. Parry goes in to try and wrestle it, and she does a brilliant job. The Australia captain in over the top, stayed on her feet, supported her body weight.
She's so good in that breakdown area, Shannon Parry. There she goes, on her feet, trying to pull the ball up, so clear to the referee that she can't play it. Australia now taking their time to set up for the penalty move.
Kaslik in no rush whatsoever. Nice decoy runner there. Cherry up the middle, and Turner with a little grubber kick. It's come off the outside of her boot, and I don't think she intended that.
She wasn't impressed with herself there, was she? Unhappy. She meant that to be a little bit further infield. I could hear Sean Horan on the sideline shouting, push up to his defence. They're holding off Australia at the moment, which is allowing Australia to eat up the space, eat up the ground, and make progress up the pitch.
Goss, ball off the top to use in the pass from Fata Simpkins, has started this one on the bench, and Fitzpatrick has been a little bit quiet in his final. Williams, little switch with Woodman, drops the shoulder, still struggling forward, but lets go of the ball on the ground. Well, she says that I was perfectly entitled to do that. I think she's been hard done by there.
Yeah, she's saying to the referee, I did let it go, I did let it go. What was wrong with that? Referee interpreted it slightly differently. Australia ball.
Have a look again. Watch Woodman here. She hits the ground, lets go of the ball there, back on her feet.
I think maybe she's playing the player in front of the ball.
I think that's what it was for. Kaslik. Little show and go there from Quirk. Oh, look at that for a hit. Fitzpatrick with a monster tackle now. Kaslik can't go around the outside. Turner in to try and help her. Where's that ball? They've managed to steal it again.
Just competing so hard at the breakdown, both teams, aren't they? New Zealand aren't going to go quickly here because they're a player short. Yeah, really good work at the breakdown again.
Chichamaki's coming in, and Patrick is going to limp to the sideline. Took out a big hit there. Sean Horn, well, he needs his team to get something. He's still got 6 minutes, plenty of time on the board. Couple of tries to get back level. Deep inside their own 22, and very deep in alignment, New Zealand. What can Williams make happen? We've seen her offloading skills before, but when the tackles go in like that, she's not even thinking about offloading, she's thinking about oxygen. Portia Woodman stands up, Tony Gatto, pumps the legs, happy to recycle that ball. Fata Simpkins, Goss trying to take a step off her right foot, tackled. Parry lets her go. Little step on the inside there from Waaka. And ball comes back on Australian side, and Portia Woodman too busy arguing with the referee to turn around and defend that one. And Kaslik scores again. Well, Portia Woodman is furious with the referee, but you're wasting your time when Australia have the ball.
Absolutely no point arguing with the referee. It was a brilliant steal from Emily Cherry at the breakdown that made this Charlotte Kaslik try. Here it is, Emily Cherry makes the tackle, so she's entitled to go for it there, flicks it back, there's no ruck. Charlotte Kaslik sprints in for the corner and dots it down, finally.
Well, let's see it again. Watch Portia Woodman here. Look, I mean, you got to keep your eyes on the prize, otherwise that's what happens. Conversion attempt, really good strike, just right and wide. 24 points to 7, Australia with one hand on this cup, and so far they are by far and away the better team.
Yeah, and that lady there, Charlotte Caslick, making the team tick. Her, Alicia Quirk, Emily Cherry. Such good playmakers in combination. She's not just a playmaker, Charlotte Caslick. 37 tries as well.
An impressive tally for the Australian number 7. New Zealand not finished yet. Well, they might be if Australia score again from here. Only 4 minutes left in the second half. Penalty, no advantage being played. Ruby Tui frustrated. She fires that one back and says, let's get on with it. Let's see what we got left here. Any game breakers here. Goss trying to break the tackle at least. Presents it nicely. Any room in that middle? Oh, there is! Oh, the dummy switch as well, and here's the speedster, Portia Woodman. Can she get away from Kaslik? She can, and the second attempt, oh, bump off! What a try for Woodman. I tell you what, there was anger in that one. There was anger in that one.
I think the second or third handoff was expressing the anger she felt earlier on, you're right, but we've said we haven't seen Portia Woodman with the ball in space. Finally, we did. It wasn't just one of those simple run-ins for her, though. First of all, a handoff of Charlotte Caslick, then a shrug of Charlotte Caslick's tackle, then shrugging off another tackle, then sprinting over the try line. The determination from Portia Woodman, the frustration she'll have felt over the last couple of days, not getting to play very much, not getting the ball in wide open spaces. There she is, 103 tries, Hugh.
103 tries. Incredible. And I tell you what, that was ferociousness, because the gap is now 10. We've 2 minutes to play. Game back on. Give her the ball, Sue. Give her the ball and just let her do the same thing.
That would be my game plan if I were in this New Zealand team. Try and create a bit of space and give the ball to Portia.
Give her the ball before the anger runs out. Chance to go on the outside. Fanta Simpkins looks support. Williams, can she stay in? No, she can, and she's knocked it on. Advantage Australia. We'll go back for the scrum. Just trying one pass too many. In fairness to Williams, she's been marshalled towards that touchline by Emily Cherry, so it was a shot to nothing.
Yeah, in that situation, you're trying to offload the ball back into the field so you don't give away the line out.
Substitution for Australia. In comes Penatani.
Time on. Closer. Crouch. Fine. Set.
Scrum's gone down. Might try and stop the clock here, because New Zealand need all the time. They're 10 points down. They need 2 scores.
And we talked earlier about how New Zealand have only got 11 players. I think that's true of Australia as well. We haven't seen anything of Ivania Polite.
Pop ball at the back. Cherry takes 2. Thumping hits to the shoulder. I wonder if she's going to get up from that. They get a penalty, though, not rolling away the tacklers. All well and good making that monster hit. You've got to roll away.
Yeah, Emily Cherry playing the Bosch centre for once. Normally, she's the one trying to jink around the outside.
The Scott Gibbs of Wales, the Kevin Maggs of Ireland, or the Scott Hastings of Scotland. Take your choice. Touch for Australia, and a line out for the 2-time series champions of this season. New Zealand needs something. They need possession first of all. Well, there's time ticking away here.
Yeah, Australia will be more than happy with that. This is all eating up the last few seconds of this game.
Well, if this one doesn't go to hand, Australia just about come away with it, and Penatani reaching for the sky there. Where's that ball? Where's that ball? Penalty, they got to tap and go. They got to tap and go. Anything left for New Zealand? Not back 10. Portia Woodman, off you go on your own. See what you can do. 10 seconds. Well, that's going to be that. Even if they do score now, it's too late. Sarah Goss straight into contact. Still going. Sarah Goss. Oh, would you look at this? Could be trying the tournament right here. Just short. What about that? They're going to go wide. It's going to be too late. It will be New Zealand's try. Winiata crosses the line, but it is too little too late. Australia have done enough. New Zealand, well, the first half killed them really.
Yeah, you talked about the anger and frustration that made that Portia Woodman try. This time it was the frustration of Sarah Goss that made that New Zealand try. There was nothing going to stop her. Bumps off one tackle, shrugs off Shannon Parry. How often do people shrug off Shannon Parry? Shrugs off Emily Cherry. Finally they bring her down, but it's taken so many Australian players to stop her that there's nobody left to tackle Salika Winiata.
Well, in the end, there was only one try in and a conversion drifts wide, but New Zealand, too little too late for them. Australia have done 3 titles in a row, 3 tournaments in a row, and they are the champions here in Atlanta. You have to say, bar that England match today, we have deserving champions, 24 points to 19.
Yeah, you don't have to win every match in the weekend to win the tournament. Australia know that. They turn it on at the right time. They turned it on this evening. Some brilliant tries, beautifully orchestrated by Kaslik and Quirk and Cherry in the middle. Emma Tonegato has been so good for them all tournament as well.
Well, their work rate has been phenomenal over the course of the tournament, and even when you had those question marks after that England result, you wondered, have Australia spent their energy? Is this one going to be one too far for them? They answered emphatically and went unbeaten for the rest of the tournament. Tim Walsh has got to be a proud coach. Shannon Barry's got to be a very proud captain. And New Zealand, well, they will come back and fight for next weekend because, as you say, they've had some injury problems. I mean, Portia Woodman unavailable for a lot of yesterday as well. And we saw with her try what she's capable of.
Yeah, because of the balance of the squad, they've not been able to play Woodman out in that wing position, which is clearly her best position, where she is clearly head and shoulders above most other players on the series. So she hasn't had the ball in space.
Back to Rosie. We need
to take nothing away from Australia.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at Dominique Dutoy there in the picture. She's smiling, 18 years of age, and, you know, the future is bright for Australia. If they can churn out a few more like her, when the likes of Shannon Parry and Emily Cherry have to call it a day, who knows?
Well, you're talking about their experienced players. They're not exactly getting on. Charlotte Kaslik is 21. Alicia Quirk is 24. Emily Cherry, 23. They've got a good few years left in them yet, this team.
Well, we won't be writing their epitaph just yet, then.
I'll be on your right.
Okay, so
okay. Yeah, I'll just do that exactly.
Well, you can see tears in the squad there. I mean, 3 in a row. It takes a huge effort and a huge commitment and a hunger and desire. Let's talk about the psychological side of things as well in a minute's time. But these are the celebratory scenes, and nobody more happy than the Australian captain, Shannon Parry, is with Talon.
What a physical game, one of the best we've witnessed in a final.
Definitely a very physical game out there in a battle, and credit to the Kiwis, they fought all the way to the end. It was a true test match there, Aussie and New Zealand rivalry, so very credit to the Kiwi girls and also to my girls, very proud of them.
Talk us through the feelings after going through the first game, after going down.
Yeah, it was a bit of a slow start for us, but you know, we kept building and we're all about the process, so just glad to get the trophy in the last dance.
Preparations looking good for the Olympics?
Yes, absolutely. We're about building momentum towards the Olympics, and that's what every team's charging for.
Shannon, a message to your family and friends back home.
To our family and friends back home, it's about 8 o'clock in Australia. We're so thankful for all your support, and just a quick message to the Bowen family, our thought and prayers are with you at this tough time.
All the best for next week and the rest of the series.
No worries, thank you.
Enjoy the win.
So, a look at the table as it stands then after 3 tournaments. Australia unbeaten, 60 points, and they are by far and away the team of the current season. New Zealand, Well, they cement second place ahead of Canada. England in fourth place, and Colombia at the bottom with just one tournament and 1 point. Impressive from the Aussies. So the player of the final, the HSBC player of the final, is Charlotte Caslick. An incredible performance by her. Tries, assists, you name it, she's done it. And not just in the final, throughout the 2 days, over the course of the entire tournament here in Atlanta. Phenomenal talent, and what a player. Fully deserved. Smiles all round. The psychological side of things, Sue, which is something I wanted to come back to, because, you know, to win 3 tournaments in a row, whatever about the physical effort they've put in, you've got to have the hunger and desire to do it.
And the belief that you're going to win, and that's one thing that the Aussies have in absolute spades, isn't it? Other teams, had they lost the first match like Australia did yesterday, may not have had the belief to come back and win the tournament.
Well, if you're asking for the player of the tournament, there really could be only one winner. She is an Australian. She is a try-scoring machine, and Emma Toney-Gatto deserves this accolade more than anybody else. An incredible performance over the last 2 days, including 5 tries in one match. You don't see that too often.
Yeah, not a bad tally for one match, is it? They look a bit uncomfortable, don't they? Emma Toney-Gatto, Charlotte Caslick before her, taking the accolades as individuals. It's been a real team performance from Australia.
So Emma Toney-Gatto takes the player of the tournament, the MVP, if you will, here in Atlanta. Caslick on the final, Toney-Gatto over the 2 days, and Australia getting ready to go up and accept the cup for the Atlanta tournament. 10 in total for Toney-Gatto. Landry and Scarrett, an incredible performance from her back in the England team, and I'm sure we'll see more in Langford from England's tallest and best strike runner. But all smiles for Australia, and it's the hard work, I suppose, to get to this stage. That's the bit we don't see, the hours and hours of gym work, of training on the pitch, to get themselves to this standard and to be the best team in the world. And that's what this bunch of players are. I mean, you think back to Dubai, even last season as well, they had kind of flagged that they were getting to this stage with some brilliant performances last season, but this season they have just dominated and taken that crown from New Zealand. The rivalry continues, but Australia have the bragging rights at the moment. And it'll be interesting to see how much this takes out of them ahead of Langford next week. That is Canada's home tournament. They'll be there or thereabouts. England as well, building some nice form. Don't write off the USA. Under Walker, first tournament for him in Atlanta here. They took the plate. And we will see them all again next week. So your HSBC Atlanta Sevens winners, Australia. Shannon Parry lifts the trophy, well, smiles all around there, and they just seem like a really close-knit bunch as well. You've got to have that, you've got to have the cohesion and the friendships as well as everything else.
That's right, you could tell by the fact Emma Toney-Gatto was a bit overcome by getting player of the tournament, but really didn't want the individual attention at all, did she? Much happier with her teammates around her, as every good rugby player is. They're a really good team, this Australian unit. They play so well together, look after each other so well. Another great result.
Smiles all round, and your champions once again in Atlanta, Australia. So this is how the table looks after 3 tournaments of the current season. Australia out on top with 60 points, ahead of New Zealand, Canada and England. We go to Canada and Langford next week, of course, and maybe the standings might change after that. You can be sure that Canada going to do everything in their power to give the home crowd something to cheer about. Ireland, they've improved their position up to 12th, and Colombia 13, but closing the gap on Brazil and on Japan and Spain. But that's how it stands after 3 tournaments. We've had a wonderful time. We hope you have as well. Some brilliant rugby, and we hope for more of the same next week. Hopefully conditions will allow for that.